January 22nd, 2015. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 64 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, the award-losing podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting next to me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Yeah, they announced the Trippies this last week. And,
we're losers.
We're losers again. 500, of course, won for Best Podcast, which was no surprise.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. The juggernaut that is 500. So no surprise there. But it was nice to be nominated again. That's very nice. So I
really thought this was our year, though.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I think we've been good this year. Last year.
Yeah, it's been a good year.
Yeah, we're going to have to try harder this time.
Well, maybe we'll do more campaigning next time. Maybe slip a few dollars under the table. Maybe
we should get a third person who's more, interesting.
That's a really good idea. Maybe you and I should just stop doing the show.
Yeah, right.
That might help. Yeah.
Farm it out.
Find two more co-hosts. Yeah, and then we'll just take a back seat. I was looking through all the Trippy results though, and one thing did catch my eye, and I was glad to see this in sort of a vindictive sort of way. But Harrah's Las Vegas was voted worst craps in Las Vegas.
I wonder how they determine that. I mean,
it's readers.
They just ask people, where's the worst place to play?
I mean, I nominated Harrah's because I think it's the worst. I voted for Harrah's.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see I was backed up by some of the other readers at Vegas Tripping. Because,
I'll tell you what, it is crappy.
It used to be our favorite place to play.
Yeah.
And it's really gone downhill.
It's gone downhill
terrible.
big time.
Yeah.
Well, the dealers aren't that good, number one.
No.
That's my biggest thing. The atmosphere is not great.
Nope.
And their payouts on the prop bets are bad.
Yeah, they're not. That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what is there to draw you there?
No, nothing for me
Not
anymore.
for craps, anyway.
Yeah, no, I won't be going back there anytime soon. Well, of course, Harrah's Las Vegas is owned by Caesars Entertainment, and listeners have probably heard that Caesars, or at least part of Caesars, declared for bankruptcy this last week. It's actually Caesars Entertainment Operating Company, which is a subsidiary of Caesars Entertainment. They filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. And it's funny because for people who follow casino news and stuff like that, this is not a big surprise at all. We've been seeing this coming for some time.
It's been rumored for a long time.
But as far as the mainstream media go, and just people that we know who, aren't into gambling or, Las Vegas or anything like that.
Well, they're shocked.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Caesars, aren't they pretty big?
Well, how could a casino go bankrupt?
Yeah, there's no explaining it.
There's no explaining that.
So,
what's funny is, and I was talking about this with somebody yesterday, Harrah's bought Caesars. Mm-hmm. It was actually Harrah's Entertainment that bought Caesars, but they kept the Caesars name for the whole thing because it was a bigger name.
Well, they switched it over to Caesars name, right? Because more name recognition.
More name recognition. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Harrah's bought them. And then to avoid a lot of problems, they divided it into 4 parts. Mm-hmm. So these 4 different parts. So it's just one part that's actually filing bankruptcy.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So the other 3 parts are still viable.
Yep. And you know what I'll do? I've actually got a link to their official page, Caesar's page devoted to the whole bankruptcy thing. And you can kind of see which casinos are affected and which are not.
Right.
Right. And I think the only
Vegas one is Caesars.
I think Caesars is the only one in Las Vegas, if I remember that list like that. But, we had people coming up to us and, oh my gosh, what should we do? What about I've got a bunch of reward credits. Do I need to cash them out? Should I stop playing there? What do I need to do? And, the short answer is you don't need to do anything. The customers are probably not going to see any effect, certainly in the short term.
It's a reorganization too.
Yeah.
So they'll just reorganize.
Yep.
And what they really should do with that property? I mean, that's a pretty big property there where Caesar's Palace is. Tear the whole thing down. Children's theme park.
Oh, that's a very good idea, Mike.
Start getting the kids into Vegas.
Yeah, that's good. I think they tried that a few years ago with some success.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, I think you've got a good idea. I'll write a letter. I'll write a snail mail letter to Gary Loveman. And
just off the record, though, or to change the subject a little, whatever happened to the theme park that was behind
MGM Grand?
MGM
Yeah,
Grand.
it closed. The whole experiment with trying to get families there failed.
I know, but so what did they do with all that property?
Well,
what's there now?
I think they've got condos and stuff back there now.
Okay.
There is still a theme park at Circus.
Well, yeah, there always has been, though.
Yeah.
But, God, can you imagine how much that must have cost?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Put that in and then just close it down?
Yeah, sure. Well, we're not experts on this whole bankruptcy thing, but if you take a listen to the Vegas Gang podcast, they keep up on all this corporate espionage going on with casinos in Las Vegas and everything. So I'd recommend checking out their podcast to get more information on the Caesars bankruptcy. We had a pretty good few sessions playing craps the last few weeks.
Yes, we were on a big streak.
Yeah, and I have a separate stash just for my gambling money.
Right.
And my stash reached an all-time high thanks to a good session that we had. So I talked to my wife. I called up my wife from the casino and said, "Hey, it's going real well. Let's go shopping sometime soon. I'll buy you something." I'm thinking I'm feeling guilty because I've made her into a casino widow, right?
Yeah. So you want to appease her about buying things.
So later that week, we went to the bookstore and she wanted like a calendar that was like a half price calendar for like $5. So I got
it was 2012.
That's right. So I got her that. I said, "No, come on. I really want to take you out somewhere. Buy you something nice. Right? And she said, no. She said, "That's your stash. And eventually you're going to want to wish you still had that money."
Yeah.
That's what she said to me.
Yeah. And that's why she has been officially voted Wife of the Year.
So congratulations, honey. That's what Mike said. It's like, she said that? Oh my gosh, she's Wife of the Year.
Not that my wife isn't.
Right.
I want to make that clear.
Right. But now,
she's wonderful.
Your wife now knows what she has to aspire to.
She doesn't have to get into my gambling stash. Actually, it's our stash. So
okay. Very good.
We both
use the same stash. That's good.
You know what's funny about that? Speaking of, we were on this big streak, and now we're not.
Yeah, I think we jinxed it by talking about it last time because that was the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's funny is we were down on the very next gambling session we went to. We were down.
Yeah.
And it wasn't going too well. And then we got a huge roll.
Yeah, guy made a fire for 4 numbers. Yeah.
And he rolled a lot of numbers. And we were, literally a few dollars away from being up.
Yeah.
His roll ended, and then we stayed and lost everything back.
Yeah. And I don't want to talk about this too much because it's just, sad sack stories. But this last week it was win-win-win.
Right.
And then we lost all our money and more.
And more, right.
Yeah,
and ended up down. Yeah.
Oh, well. Anyway. Hopefully, by talking about this now, we've swapped the jinx.
Right, and this weekend will be better.
Yeah, that's good, right? I want to talk a little bit about Advantage Play because we heard about a video poker opportunity that happened here by us at Harrah's, Southern California, a little over a week ago. They have a bank of 8-5 double-double bonus video poker machines in their high limit area. It's a progressive bank of only 3 machines. Right? And it's 8-5 double-double bonus, which is a pretty bad game because when the progressive resets, it resets to $20,000, which is 4,000 coins, which is a typical Royal Flush payout, right? So at 8-5, it's actually a pretty bad game. It's like a 96.77% return. So it's not a good game, but it does have a progressive. And apparently a couple weeks ago, in the high limit area room, they got rid of some Monte Carlo machines.
Yeah.
And so they moved the jackpot from these Monte Carlo slot machines over to the progressive on these double-double bonus.
Right, because by law, I believe the jackpot has to have been won.
Yeah, and who knows
and if
when it comes
it's not won, you can transfer it to another machine, or you have to leave that machine on the floor.
Right, and that would certainly be the case in Vegas at these tribal casinos. Who knows?
Yeah,
but that's what they did.
But that's what they did anyway,
yeah.
Which is good.
Sure,
right. So the money's still there.
Right. Well, it turns out that the amount of jackpot that got transferred over to the machines made the jackpot on the progressive double-double bonus about $90,000. Significantly higher than the $20,000 starting point, and higher than normally the progressive gets to with just regular play, right? So when we found out about this opportunity, the jackpot was at $90,000, and that made the return on this game a little over 105%, about 105.4%.
So a positive EV for sure.
Yeah, right. It turns out that we were not able to get out there in time to take advantage of it.
Well, we heard about it on a Thursday.
And we were not able to get out there until Friday night.
Right.
And by then, the progressive jackpot.
It was hit Thursday night.
Yeah, I think even when we had found out about it, it was probably too late. Yes,
yeah.
Right. But it was interesting because, well, a couple of things. Number one, the word certainly did not get out to very many people. because we heard that the guy who eventually won the jackpot was just a guy sitting by himself. You know, the other two machines were vacant.
And he was playing. Yeah.
And he was playing by himself and hit it for $94,000. $94,000. Right?
And we got that on pretty good reliable source because there's a high limit cashier that's right next to those machines.
Yes.
And the woman said, "Oh yeah, I was here. The guy was playing and he hit it." And she paid him.
Yeah.
I mean, she was the one that came out and paid him. Yeah.
So it's interesting because, you know, this was, sure, it was a positive EV game. Now, certainly it's not a game that any advantage player could take advantage of, right? Because when you're talking about, you know, trying to hit a royal flush on a video poker machine, right?
You're going to be putting in some coin.
Right. So typically what I thought would have happened if enough people had found out is that an AP team would have come in, taken all three machines and, you know, worked around the clock until the jackpot had been hit. Right. And, you know, you would have needed a sizable bankroll to make that happen too. So it's not the kind of positive EV game that anybody could play. You know, you'd need that big bankroll.
Right.
Another thing too, when a progressive gets that high, the basic strategy for the game changes.
Sure, because you want to hit that jackpot.
Right.
So you're going to keep some things you normally might not keep and throw away some things you might normally keep.
Right, exactly. If you were just playing, you know, standard 8-5 double-double bonus basic strategy, it would be incorrect because the progressive got so high. I, you know, was just running it on my phone, and there were plenty of times where the basic strategy said that you should keep just 2 to a royal flush instead of other combinations that normally you would keep together, you know, right? So
yeah, well, that's going to happen because, I mean, basically at that point you are just playing for that royal flush.
Yeah. I mean,
you're really not thinking about, oh, I'm going to cash out when I'm $100 up.
Right. Yeah. The positive EV in something like this means you need to hit the jackpot, and that's why teams come in, right? You know,
right, and that's the only way really to do that. Because say if I sat down there, I could go through $5,000 real quick and get nothing.
Oh,
right?
sure.
You know, and then you're down 5,000. I mean, where's your bankroll in?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if we had found out about it in time. Maybe you and I could sat there, you know, together and at least you know, try to play for a little while. But you know, but it got me thinking. You know, these kinds of things, they come up. Right?
Sure.
You know, I mean, the advantage plays are out there. Sometimes you just have to go out there and look for them. Something like this, again, might not be for everybody, but maybe you see a game where, you know, they're paying according to a pay table that's actually positive EV. Could be video poker, could be a table game. You know, things like that are out there if you're willing to put in the time and effort.
Well, and I think if this had happened in Las Vegas, say to a Las Vegas casino, a team would have hit that in a heartbeat because they would have been across the street or somewhere, right?
Yeah, if they'd found out about it.
The fact that it happened out here at Harrah's, Southern California, it's a little remote.
Sure.
Right. And maybe if it hadn't got hit right away, maybe the next day there would have been somebody there with a team of players or something. Right?
I'm sure they would have, yeah.
But I think it's location, right? And timing, of course.
Yep. So keep an eye out. You know, work with friends. Again, we're not advantage players. We don't claim to be. But, you know, advantage plays do come up every once in a while, and you and I have taken advantage of some.
We have had.
Some that, you know, we can't even talk about because it might come up again, right? And that's part of, you know,
that's funny. Plays. I was just going to say, we have a couple of really good stories that we can never tell anybody.
That's right.
Because if they come up again.
Yeah, they could come up again. We need to take advantage of it. So I was listening to the Tipping the Odds Las Vegas podcast. And Mitch and Dr. Kev were talking about the buffet at Excalibur, which, you know, you think buffet Excalibur, you know, throw up, right?
As opposed to Italian restaurant at Excalibur.
Oh, yeah, that Lancelot Pasta?
Yeah, Lancelot Pasta is great.
Is that still there?
I don't know, but when it was, I liked it.
Well, anyway, they were talking about the buffet, and Dr. Kev said it wasn't as bad as he would have expected. One thing he was surprised, though, is that they had serve yourself beverages. And that, you know, that kind of is for like a low scale kind of a buffet. Right. And I don't know if we've talked about this on the show.
I don't think so.
I wish more buffets had serve yourself beverages. Oh my gosh, because
you and I don't see that as a negative.
No.
You know, I mean, for two reasons. Number one, speed. It increases the speed.
That's exactly the reason. We're going to the buffet to eat quickly.
Right.
And I like having a drink with me when I'm eating at all times.
Right.
So whether it's a refill.
So when you get up to get your food, you can stop and fill your glass.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like being at Soup Plantation.
Right, Soup Plantation or Hometown Buffet or all those things. Yeah, I want to be able to get a drink. And, you know, all that the wait staff does really is clear your plate and bring you drinks.
Right.
And, I'm always, how much do I tip? I don't know what you're supposed to tip or 10%. Just forget it. Just have them clean the plates.
Not even that. There should be a slot at the end of your table that you just slide your plates into.
A conveyor belt.
Yeah, you just slide your plate in there.
That's classy. All right. If they had conveyor belts going by that you could slide your plate on and you had serve yourself beverages, that would be my dream. Now, Mitch was saying that they actually have serve yourself beverages at Mirage.
Which is surprising.
Yeah.
Because that's a little more upscale than Excalibur.
Right.
Ruth Chris should look into this.
Well, Ruth Chris isn't a buffet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Have you ever been there, Dr. Mike?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll take you sometime.
I thought that was a buffet like Hometown.
I'm sure you did. We found out some news this week. I think on a previous episode we were talking, maybe it was in the bonus audio, I can't remember. But they stopped offering 100 times odds at Casino Royale on the Strip. And we were very disappointed to hear that. Well, they've brought it back.
I wonder why.
I don't know. It was about a year off from my understanding. And so 100 times odds is now back at Casino Royale. So that's very good news.
What's the table limit's like?
I assume that it's like it was before, where it's like a $3 limit. If you bet less than 5, you can take 20 times odds.
Okay.
But then like $5, you can take 100 times odds, right?
Yeah.
It's still, we don't play there very often though, because I think they're down to only one table now. It's crowded. A lot of times the dealers are
kind
new.
of a training place.
So we don't play there very often. But boy, if this could just bleed into the other casinos, it sure would be great.
I would just like one major casino to offer 100 times odds.
Yeah,
like, years ago when Binion's had 100 times odds.
Or that period for a little while, Riviera was offering 1,000 times odds.
Yeah, right. Well, that's not going to really come into effect. I'm never going to take 250 times odds.
Well, but I'm saying, without, I was even responding to a listener too. Once you get to 100 times odds,
right.
That's basically, for me, that's like, you might as well say it's unlimited odds.
Right.
Because I'm never going to take advantage of 100 times odds, right?
You're probably not going to make a $25 line bet and $2,500 odds.
Yeah, right. But, it would be nice to think, I can bet however much I want back here, at any time. That's what 100 times odds basically offers you. So.
Yeah, some major casino like, Mirage or somebody should do that.
That'd be great. I think they're all scared to do it because then, if one does it, then they're all going to have to do it. And then suddenly they're losing
They're
money
in collusion like the baseball owners, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, when you're going to buy something through Amazon, go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. That way, when you make a purchase, we get a little kickback that helps cover the cost of hosting the show, and it doesn't cost you a thing. You'll pay the same price just like normal. Again, we really want to thank everybody who's been clicking through.
Thank you.
When are we going to Vegas next?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not 100% sure of that.
All right, should we just wait? We need to check with our wives, don't we?
Check with the wives, find out what's going on. There was some talk about going for the NCAA basketball tournament.
That would be great. I'd love to go there. We've never been there.
We've never been there
March
for that.
Madness,
yeah. And, we love that tournament. We both love that tournament and watch every game.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Okay. Well, let's think about that. We'll put a pin in that first weekend for March Madness, maybe.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what happens.
We'll see what goes on.
What else do we have coming up? Oh, this weekend we're playing in a tournament. Our good friend Dave hosts a tournament. And we missed the last one because we were in Las Vegas.
Right. And he has a Texas Hold'em tournament.
Yep. And I won the previous one.
Right. But you're not you don't have a bounty on you this time.
I probably won't because I wasn't at the last one. So I'm not defending my title, but at least the last time I played. So
I like that you didn't go and defend your title.
Really?
So it's like, let someone else have a chance.
Okay.
And then this time you go and win.
Okay.
It looks pretty good.
If I ever win again, I'll skip the next one.
When you win again.
Oh, I'm not that arrogant.
Come on.
All right.
He's a good poker player.
I probably will win.
Yeah, I know
this
you
Saturday. Hey, let's move on to our voicemail hotline. Give us a call. Our hotline is 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS.
951-2-WAGERS.
Let's start with a call from David.
Hey, folks. My name's David Petty from North Carolina, and I just wanted to call you and tell you how much I enjoy listening to your podcast. I listen to them regularly. I listen to the same ones over and over. I'm simple-minded, I guess, but I just sure do enjoy them so much. And I just wanted to tell you, don't worry about talking about craps too much. You know, there's a bunch of podcasts available on blackjack and poker and other games, but there's not many available where folks talk just about craps. And so that's particularly why I listen to your show. And just hope you guys keep up the good work and look forward to your next installment. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Great. Thanks, David. Appreciate that. Okay, good.
I've got something to ask David.
All right.
So if you listen to this podcast this week, David, call back and let me know, is there a Caesars property in North Carolina? Or what would be the closest to North Carolina?
Okay.
Because my wife has a really good friend that lives in North Carolina on the Outer Banks.
Yeah.
And she was talking about going to visit her. And she said, is there a property that we could stay at, fly there on, Caesar's dime, so to speak, stay at the property. And then she wanted to visit her friend and I could stay in the casino and play.
Okay.
So I was trying to look it up, but
you couldn't really see anything that was
I couldn't see anything really close. And then somebody told me, and this, I can't verify this, but they told me that there was an Indian casino that they thought was run by Caesars.
Okay.
So it might be, that they had some connection with Caesars. So if that's the case, call and let me know.
Yeah, David, if you could do that research for Dr. Mike.
Yeah, because I couldn't find anything where there's an Indian casino, but, maybe there is. I don't know.
All right. All right, let's hear from Austin.
Hi, guys. This is Austin Bluff. I've been listening to your show for a couple of months now. I really love it. I make an annual trip out to Vegas, which we're about 2 weeks out from our annual trip out there. I'm primarily a poker player, but me and my brother also dabble in a little bit of blackjack and craps while we're there. I've really become interested in craps since listening to your show. Typically when I bet, I'm very passive, very tight. I'll play a minimum bet, pass line bet, and on the point, I'll just back it up with one-time odds, and that's really the only bet I ever make. Since listening to your show, I've done a little bit of internet research, and I've read about a strategy called a three-point molly, where you do the pass line bet, back it up with full odds, and then do two come bets, so you have 2 additional points, and then you back those up by full odds. I'm thinking about exploring that strategy next time I go out there. I'd be interested in hearing your insights on how that works, and I'm particularly interested in whether I should leave all 3 numbers up until I 7 out, or does it make sense that if I hit one of them, I pull the bets down, just knowing that I'm eventually going to 7 out. So if you have any insight on the three-point molly strategy, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks. Love your show.
Okay, good. Yeah, the three-point molly. This was actually good timing, this phone call, because we also got an email from a couple of listeners, Chris and Lorraine from Northern England, who are coming out to Vegas soon, or I think it's this year sometime anyway.
Right.
They were asking about crap strategy because they really don't have craps in England. I think there's maybe one casino that offers it right now.
Right.
So it's just not really very popular with European casinos at all, right? So, so this was good timing. Yeah, the three-point molly. So yeah, as it turns out, this is the strategy that we recommend people use when we're teaching them the game.
Right. Whenever we teach a new person how to play craps, I always tell them, don't look at what we're doing.
Right.
Just do this and you'll be fine.
Yeah. It's a simple strategy. It's aggressive enough to, kind of keep it interesting, but it's not too aggressive that you could lose your entire bankroll too quickly.
Yeah. Now you can lose.
Sure.
We're not saying that, this is, you're going to win.
Well, yeah. This is not a winning strategy.
Right. Because you definitely can lose. But I think this strategy kind of keeps your losses low. And you still have a chance if it's a good roll for a big win.
Yes. So the strategy is very simple. You make a pass line bet and you back that up with odds. And then you make come bets until you have 2 come bets up on numbers. Right. So let's say your point is 8 for the pass line, and then you make a come bet and a 4 is rolled. So your come bet goes up to 4. Another come bet, 9 is rolled, you up to 9. Now you have 3 numbers, 8 on the pass line, and you've got 4 and 9 on come.
Right.
And you take odds on those come bets.
And now you just sit and wait.
You wait.
And you hope that one of them hits. And let's say that 4 is rolled. Okay. Then you're going to come down off the 4.
Right. They'll pay your 4 and your bet will actually come off the 4.
Right. And then take all your money and just put another come bet.
Yeah.
So you go back up to a third number. Try and keep those 3 numbers.
Yeah. So Austin was saying, do I, stop at that point and wait for the inevitable 7? Well, inevitable 7. 7's going to come out one every 6 times.
Right.
So yeah, just make the other bet, because when you make that next bet, let's say in our example, right, the 4 came up. So now you only have 2 numbers. You have a pass line bet on the 8 and then a come bet on the 9. Yeah, make another come bet out there. And you know what? If 7 comes up right there, well, you lose the 9 and the 8, but your come bet wins.
Come bet. And if 8's rolled or something, then you've won your line bet and you're going up on an 8.
Yeah.
So you're going to come out, So what I like about this strategy, and, it's ridiculous for me to sit here and say this because I don't play this way. But what I like about this strategy is the fact that you still have a potential to win a ton of money on that shooter that gets stuck on a number.
Yeah, right.
Like, right? We've all seen it. You go up on a 9, your point's 5, then he rolls a 9, then he rolls 4 9s in a row. You went to the bathroom last week, remember?
Yes, you told me. I missed that.
He was playing this way with come bets.
Yep.
He goes to the bathroom. A lady came out with like an 8, and then she rolled 5 9s in a row.
Yeah.
Which for the come better is like,
it's
a
fantastic.
godsend, right?
Uh-huh.
You don't put any more money out there. You just collect.
Yep.
I mean, so you have the potential for a very big roll. But if the worst thing happens, and let's say this isn't the absolute worst, but if a bad thing happens, they establish an 8 and then they immediately roll a 7 and 7 out, you haven't lost that much.
Yeah.
Your come bet is offsetting your line bet.
Right, because the come bet wins.
Because the come bet wins. So you basically just lost your odds.
Yeah.
And depending on your bankroll, I mean, we always say take full odds, what the casino will allow you. And that's good
advice in general.
Yeah, because it does, you're taking advantage of true odds. But if your bankroll is not that much, you can take single odds.
Yeah.
My mom always takes single odds, and her bankroll's big enough to take full odds.
I would recommend that.
But,
if you're buying in for like $300 and it's a $5 table, I would say start off by taking single odds, right? Because you could have $30 out there, that just suddenly lose. That's with single odds.
And that's a tenth of your money.
Yeah. And then, if it starts to get hot and you're up and you want to be a little more ambitious, then you can increase your odds. So again, that's good advice. Even though, take full odds is good advice, maybe your bankroll can't handle it. So, decide.
You have to be the judge of that.
Yeah.
You have to decide what you're willing to lose and what you're willing to put in. But playing the 3-point Molly is great, I think.
Yes.
And other people say, get a 4th number. No, I only want to take 2. Sure, you can do all that.
Sure.
But there's just something about 3 that you have enough action.
Yeah.
So you've got, out of the 6 possible points, you've got 3 of them, half of them covered. Because you hate to get on a roll where you've got 4 numbers and then a guy gets stuck on an 8 and none of your numbers are 8, right? Then he rolls 4 8s in a row and then he 7s and you feel terrible.
Well, the 3-point Molly, it's probably the most popular strategy for playing. We certainly didn't come up with it, but it's the most popular and with good reason. I think it's a good strategy. Again, it's not a winning strategy. There is no winning strategy for craps, but it's a good way to play. And I can't tell you how many times we have played with newbies. We've told them what to do. We've walked away from the tables losers, you and I, and they've walked away from the table winners.
And some, and it's been, some friend of ours who bought in for 100 leaves with 3 and we've lost 2,000.
Exactly. Okay. One more call from Derek.
Hey guys, it's Derek out in Utah calling you again. Love the show. Really some great stuff the last couple episodes. So I had a question for you about a Players Club card as far as how they work. I always use my Players Club card no matter what I'm doing, but I was wondering if I was to go to like a high area slot machine or video poker or something like that and leave the card in, because I know other people play a lot without cards. If somebody was to play on that card, or, if you put it in a high denomination type machine and they were to play on that card, as far as comps and all that go, is that going to help you out? Or is that going to come back to bite you in the long run? Is there rules against that? I just thought on my way out, every time you go in, they'll give you a free card. So if I was just to leave my card in a machine of some nature and people rack up points on there, that could only help you out with comps and free rooms, that kind of thing. And I was wondering if there's any downfall or anything I'm not seeing there that could come back to bite me. So I guess I'll just listen to the answer off the air, and I appreciate you guys. Have a good show, and thanks for the show. Really enjoy it.
Well, that's interesting because I happen to have about 30 cards in my car because I always forget it and I go in, oh crap, I forgot my card.
Yeah.
And I get a new card. So I amassed these cards. I mean, they're laying in my bedroom and they're in the car. I should take them all and just strategically put them in machines around the casino, hoping that somebody plays with them.
Yeah, the problem with you, though, is because you're 7 stars.
Right.
That activates something back in the hosts area.
Right. And they immediately
then they come out
out
to talk to you, right? And it shows you're going putting cards all around. They're running from machine to machine.
Now, where is he?
Yeah, so it probably wouldn't work for you.
Yeah, it might not work, but I never really thought of that. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't know. So as far as the downfall of something like that, well, everybody has left their card in a machine before.
Oh,
We've all
sure.
done it.
We've all done
We've
that.
forgotten about
Yeah.
it, right? So, it could be just like, oh, I left my card here,
Harris, Southern California is very good when you go to buy something or get food or something about checking ID. They always check ID. Even like the girl at the, Pink's counter knows me, because she sees me all the time. She still asks to see ID.
Right.
At least she makes a quick glance at it.
Right.
So I don't think that leaving your card would hurt you as far as somebody using your points.
Oh.
Or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think there is much of a downside to this because, I'm going to read to you. This is actually from Caesars Total Rewards Rules and Regulations, okay? It says, a member may not allow any other person to use his or her Total Rewards card or access his or her account. Total Rewards cards are non-transferable. Okay, so technically I think this would be breaking the rules.
Right.
The downfall, the worst that could happen is they could kick you out of the club. I can't ever see this happening in this situation because, again, it's like, oh, I left my card in there,
Yeah.
So,
well, unless you were putting like 20, 30 cards around the casino.
right, at the same time, as opposed to like once a trip.
Yeah,
right?
that might get you in some trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think leaving your card wouldn't hurt you.
No, I don't think so. Now, is it ethical? Is it the right thing to do? I won't even comment on that.
Yeah.
But I will say, I don't know that there's that much of an upside to this.
No, because you know what's going to happen? Almost everyone has a card.
Especially people in high rollers.
Oh, in the high limit room,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
They would just pull your card. I've done it. I pull
Sure.
the other person's card out. I set it by the machine.
Yeah, in case they come back.
In case they
right?
come back, and I just start playing with mine.
Yeah.
That's what would happen in the high limit room. The lower limits, maybe the penny machines, you might get somebody, but most everybody has cards now.
Yeah.
I don't see too many people without their card in there.
Yeah. So probably not much of a downside, but probably not much of an upside either.
Yeah. Unless you were at a casino that was like, say, a single casino, it wasn't a big conglomerate of casinos, and they had a players club, but not everyone joined. It's one of these places where people, go in and play a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
You might get some advantage there.
Maybe, but even so, again, we're talking about like high limit slots, that kind of thing. I think most people are going to have cards. So I don't know, Derek, if you want to try it, we're not encouraging you to, so you can't blame it on us. But if you do try it, let us know what you find out. But yeah, I don't think the upside is worth doing.
It's probably not.
Standing in line to the Players Club to get another card and then go and just put it in the machine. I don't know.
I always wonder when I go to get another card if they think, "What's this guy doing?" They have to keep track. What he's got? Yeah, so many cards.
Hey, we got an email from listener Greg. Now, the last few episodes, we've been talking about how in Nevada, at least, all gaming is public. And if you want to just stand around and watch people gamble, you are allowed to do that. The casino cannot kick you out for just standing around. And so we got an email from Greg who was arguing the point with his cousin, saying, oh, yeah, all the gambling in Nevada, it's all public. And so his cousin pointed him to an article, and I read this article, and sure enough, there is some gambling in Nevada that is not public.
Okay.
And so here's what I did. I went to the Nevada Gaming Control Board, and even though I'm not a lawyer, I started going through all their legal documents. So you can imagine how difficult that was for me.
Right. Did you understand any of it?
Not much of it.
Yeah.
But here's what I did get out of it. Okay. There is this little known concept, at least I hadn't heard of it,
I hadn't either,
in Nevada called an international gaming salon. Okay. And these salons can be created by a resort hotel that already holds a non-restricted gaming license. after they've successfully applied for and received a license for this salon. So you have to have 2 licenses, the regular unrestricted license,
and then a
separate
additional one
for this salon, right? You can open up this salon, and then patrons to this salon must put up at least $300,000. Either have it on an account.
It's their buy-in.
Yeah, basically it's their buy-in, right? Have a markers for it or whatever. $300,000 you have to put up to gamble with. And then you can enter, I think it's so funny that it's called an international gaming salon. So
why is that international in there? Must be some way to get around something.
I don't know why it's called. I could never figure out why it was called International Gaming Salon. In fact, some of their documents, they just call them gaming salons. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. So admission to these salons is restricted.
Right.
You have to.
Yeah, it's restricted by 300,000.
Exactly.
Is what restricts it.
Now, if you are one of these patrons who have this much money, you can bring friends with you. I think it's up to the casino to determine how many people you can bring with you.
So, you have to have 300,000, but is there some limit on the games? I mean, could there be a $5 game in there? I mean, a $5 crafts game, or is it?
I never saw anything on the limits that they could offer in there.
Okay.
And in fact, they mentioned when I was reading through these documents that, you can bring along a friend who gambles with you.
Right.
Who maybe doesn't, has $100. So, maybe they do set the limits based on what the person wants to play.
Okay.
But certainly if the guy with $300,000 just decides to bet $5 on the line with single odds, maybe they'd ask him to. I don't know. But anyway, this was news to me. So yes, there are some parts of Nevada where gambling is not public.
Now, I wonder how could we find out what casinos or how many casinos have this extra additional license?
That's a good question. I think it's probably public knowledge. The article that Greg pointed me to was for the Bellagio. So Bellagio at least has it.
Right.
So I would imagine places like Wynn,
every
Venetian,
major
some of the big ones would probably have it. Aria, things like that. And you could probably look it up. But yeah.
We should go for that room. Next time we're there, we'll just ask, where's your salon?
Yeah.
And then when we get there, I meant hair salon.
Yeah. I think they would know what you meant once they saw you. Oh, you want the hair salon, sir. Yeah, exactly. No, I am counting on you though, Mike. If you win the $1 million
we're
next
going,
time at Harrah's, you got to put up that 300,000.
We'll put up 300,000 and we'll go.
Yeah.
We get in there. It's just you and I. It's boring as hell. But we want to go play the $5 table on the floor.
I know, it's true. I think I'd want to be out there.
Oh, yeah.
On the regular casino floor.
Right.
Yeah. But
I'd only want to go in there so you could take my picture and then we'd leave.
That's right. Yeah. Maybe they probably got food.
Right. Yeah. Have some food.
And then leave. Yes. All right. We got one more email from a listener who wished to remain anonymous. I'm going to read this here for you. I understand that how table game ratings are done is very vague. But what do you think will happen if I buy in for $500 at a craps table, put some green chips into my pocket from time to time while the dealers aren't looking or when dealers are changing? I think the common term for this is rat holing. Yes, that is correct. That's
correct.
What it's called. So he's got an example where he colors up at the table for $200, but then he's got $200 in his pocket that he's been rat holing away.
Right.
And so now they think that you lost $300, but then when you go to cash it out, you're actually cashing out for $400. So you only lost $100, right?
Yeah.
Reading again, I understand that the ratings are done using theoretical losses, but the casinos must care about actual losses to a certain degree. Any thought on this? I'd like to think that I get better mailers because the casinos think I lose more than I actually lose. And he went on to say he's also going to ask Vegas Fanboy, Adam over at the Vegas Fanboy podcast too, to see what he says.
Now, interesting, first of all, that he wants to be anonymous, because I don't think this is something that, a few people do. I think a lot of people do this. I see it all the time.
Oh, sure.
And my other thing is, you're pretty slick if you can get it without the dealer seeing that.
Yeah,
because boy, I mean, I've seen people do it and, the dealers kind of smirk and later, they need some money. Just pull the ones out of your pocket. And the person thinks the dealers haven't been paying attention. They see it all.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, let's get a couple things straight here before we go any further. First of all, we're talking about casino table games here. Okay. You cannot rat hole if you are playing at a poker table. That is a big no-no.
Yeah.
Because you are playing with table stakes. If you've got $100 out there, that $100 is available for other players to win. That's part of the rules of poker.
You almost don't want a rat hole at a poker game anyway.
Well, I mean, some people do. It's like, oh, I've won a lot. I cashed in for 100. I'm going to pocket a bunch of this. So now I'm only risking 100. That's the most I can lose. Yeah. Right. So no way can you do this at a poker table.
Most of the time, though, you want to keep your money out there because you're hoping to get the big hand and you want to be able to.
Sure. I don't like the idea of having less out there. But again, that's a big no-no. I think they will let you tip. Like if a cocktail waitress has come by and you give them $1,
you can use it out.
You can use that from that. But beyond that, there's no rat holing. Okay. Yeah. We see this all the time. There's nothing illegal about it. And yes, in fact, you probably will get better comps, better mailers if they think you've lost more.
Correct.
So yeah, they are looking at theoretical, but they absolutely do look at how much you've actually lost.
And I don't think that, it's going to matter that much in the long run, honestly.
You don't think so?
No, I really don't, because a lot of people do this, and a lot of people do it not for the comps. They do it because it's their money management.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Oh, I think that's why most people do it.
Most people do it because it's their money management. Mm-hmm. So the casino sees this all the time, and they just figure, oh, this lady's, socking away a few quarters because she wants to walk away from this table with some money.
Right. Uh-huh.
And they know that same person is going to come back later and put that money down, buy in again, and play it. So I don't think they're that concerned about it. So yeah, they probably just rate you with what you cash out for and don't worry about it, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know.
I think the pit would, it's like, well, why go to all this effort to try and figure out if he, rat holed some away or if it's all here? Let's just rate him on what he, cashes out for.
Yeah. I guess maybe if you were a regular player, they'd probably get used to it because they'd probably catch you doing it, more than once. So
yeah. That could be if you were a real regular player. But if you're just the guy that goes in a casino and, you're making 5 trips to Vegas a year, I don't think it matters that much.
Here's what I would say. If you're going to do it, again, there's nothing illegal about it. Is it ethical or not? Who knows? Because like we say, some people aren't doing it to be unethical.
I don't even think it's unethical.
And think about when you and I are at a table, right? Yeah. We're constantly, Mike, can I borrow 500? Or, we're throwing chips back and forth. They probably
wonder
crazy.
all the time what the hell's going on because I'll just, Mark will just give me $500 out of his thing and I start playing with it. And a little while later, I'll give him 200 back. Right?
Yeah, right. We're not rat holing, but it's like, how much are each of those guys in for? We can't tell anymore.
And we're going back and forth and we know what we owe each other. Yeah. And a lot of times it's just like, I need to make this other bet and I don't want to go to the machine. Yeah. So I borrow from Mark or he borrows from me. It happens all the time.
I would say this. Go ahead and do it if you want to. Don't rat hole anything higher than $25 chips because they keep an eye on those $100 chips and above.
Yeah. And I've actually seen where they ask a player, did you sock away some hundreds?
Yeah, right.
Because they keep a track. The pit will come over and they look in their stacks. And they look around the table and they're like, we're three black chips short.
Yeah.
They know exactly how many black chips are on that table.
Yeah.
And so I've seen them ask people and then you go, I got a couple in my pocket.
Yeah.
Right.
And I will say one last thing too. This is just a word of advice. When you're cashing out and they ask you point blank, did you put some chips in your pocket? And if you did, just say yes. Oh, yeah, I did here. Look, I've got like 200 in my pocket, right? Yeah. Don't try to be deceptive about it because then you might start getting a bad reputation and, that could cause more troubles down the road.
Yeah, a lot of times, especially if I'm losing, right, I pick up my chips and I start to walk away without even cashing out because I've just got a handful left.
Yeah, it's not worth coloring up.
Right, and the pit will say to me, especially at Harris, they go, what do you got, Mike?
Yeah.
And I'll tell them, 3 black, 4 green, whatever, and walk away. Yeah. And they do that at Vegas. You just tell them honestly. I don't think it really matters.
Yeah.
Right. But they just want to keep track so they know what's walking away from the table.
Yeah. If you want to try it again, it's not illegal. Is it unethical? It's hard to say, but you can try it if you like. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Be sure to download our app for your mobile device. You'll get access to all our episodes, quick links to contact us via Twitter, Facebook, email, and our voicemail hotline, and you'll get bonus audio. On the bonus audio for this episode, we talk about holiday trips that we've taken to Las Vegas and other gambling locations. With our app, you'll also get TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. I update those listings every Wednesday using a program I wrote myself to search through all the raw American TV data. The bonus audio and the TV listings are only available on our app. To download it, go to our webpage, youcanbetonthat.com, and on the left-hand side of the page, click on the link that says How to Download Our App. We have a link for Android devices and another one for iPhones and iPads. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonthat. We always tweet when we're in a casino or on our way to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonthat. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review on us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners. Dr. Mike.
Well, what I'm going to end with this week is I want to start a new streak.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I want.
Uh-huh.
I just want to start a new winning streak.
Okay.
And it is so much nicer when you win.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe we should have a whole segment on how it's nicer when you win.
Nicer when you win.
Yeah.
I know it's overstated a lot. People go, oh, you won. Well, yeah, it's nicer when you win.
Well, it's funny because as gamblers, we know that losing is part of gambling, right?
Oh,
People who don't like gambling, it's like they hate to lose.
Well, you hear it all the time. I don't gamble because I hate to lose. Well, we all hate to lose.
We all hate to lose,
right.
But that's part of gambling.
When you're a gambler, you know that you're losing is inevitable.
Yeah, that's right.
But what you want is more wins than losses.
Yes.
So I'm keeping track this year of not only my wins and losses, but I'm keeping track of my moods on Saturdays and Sundays.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How so?
Ups or downs. Ups or downs.
Oh, it's just an arrow that you put in your log?
Yeah, just an arrow, up or down.
Okay,
good
for your
mood, bad mood.
That's before you gamble or after?
That's after I gamble.
Oh,
and but sometimes you can lose and still be in a pretty good mood.
Well, okay.
Because it wasn't too bad.
If you had kind of a comeback and you only lost 20 instead of 2,000.
Right. And we've had times where we won and been in a bad mood leaving.
Yeah, that's true too, because we could have won. Yeah,
because we could have won a lot more, and we're like, why didn't we stop an hour ago? Right. Okay. So keep track of your moods.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure the IRS will appreciate that too.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I see you.
What the hell's this?
All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.